Welcome friends, welcome back to the kitchen, welcome back to what was on sale at the grocery store. So I've been playing around with rough puff pastry. That's just an end, cleaned up the end, and I stuck it in the oven just to see how it would puff up, and I forgot to cut off the edges, otherwise it would have puffed up. Puffed up pretty nicely, got really nice and crisp. So, since I've got the puff pastry, or rough puff pastry that I've been playing with and working on, I realized today that when I was at the grocery store and I saw a bunker full of ground beef, $5 Canadian a pound, which is $5 Australian a pound, and I think that's $6 New Zealand a pound. Seemed like a decent deal. I didn't even have to wait for the sticker to go on. So I thought I'd pick some up and make a meat filling to go inside the puff pastry. We'll start off with the ground beef. To that, I'm going to add some minced onion, minced garlic. And so I really like making my own spice mixes, but for inspiration, I'll often pick up a pre-made spice mix. This one's called Turkish Spices, a savory Middle Eastern flavor. Is there salt in it? Yeah, there's salt in it. I wonder how salty it is. I haven't used it that often. I wonder what the salt content is and how much salt I need to add. So I buy these things to try to figure out if I like them, if I like this mix, and then to try to figure out what's in it and if I'm going to replicate it. I'm going to try about a tablespoon. See where that gets us. I am going to add a bit of salt just in case. Put that in. And I'm going to add an egg. So I am just playing in the kitchen, playing with ideas, playing with spice combinations, herb combinations, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work. I encourage you to do the same. The basic idea, old as time, you take some meat, you put it inside pastry, whether that's puff pastry, rough puff pastry, regular pie pastry. It could be any kind of dough. Every culture has this kind of thing. And so this is nothing new, and it's different everywhere you go. And I think that what you need to do at home is just figure out what you like. I mean, a while back we made puff pastry. We made sausage rolls with puff pastry, and that worked out really well. A little while ago I made Jamaican patties with puff pastry, even though puff pastry isn't the thing that you make Jamaican patties with. I had some on hand, so I used it. Sometimes you cook the filling and then put it in, depending on how big the filling is inside the pastry. And sometimes you put the filling in or the meat in raw, and then you cook it all at once. Today I'm going to put the meat in raw and cook it all at once. I think that just based on smell, nothing else. Just based on smell, I think that's pretty close, but it could use maybe just a little bit more. So I put a tablespoon in. I'm going to say it needs a little bit more. So we'll just sprinkle that in and mix that in. And you'll notice clean hand, dirty hand. So I use the clean hand to get the spice container. And the best way to mix something like this is with your fingers to get it all mixed in. And I think that's it. I think the meat is done, ready to go. We've got about 500 grams of filling. I want 12 of these finished puffs, which means we need about 42 grams in each puff. One scoop is 29 grams. So what? Scoop and a half? A scoop and a half in each is what we're looking for. The next scoop up is too big, and I don't have sort of a middle scoop. So what scoop is this? It's got a number inside somewhere. Huh, where is the, oh, it's on the, this is a number 50 scoop. So 1.5 number 50 scoops if you've got 500 grams of filling. So we'll go with that. experimentation. You're watching it live. It's happening. Next up is the rough puff pastry. So the rough puff pastry, you can check out the video elsewhere on the channel. I will try to remember to link to it. If not, just go to our main page and put in rough puff pastry and this video will pop up. This is some really nice rough puff. So I need to roll this out big enough that I can get 12 squares. Can we figure it out? 12 even squares of rough puff pastry. How big should each one be? Okay, I think that's as big as I'm going to be able to roll it. It's at the point where it's too thin, or getting to be too thin, and it's starting to pull back. If it pulls back too much, of course, just let it rest. Put a piece of plastic wrap over it, and leave it for 15 or 20 minutes. Probably best to put it back in the fridge, especially if you're in a warm house. Put it on a sheet tray, cover it with plastic wrap, put it back in the fridge, and then it'll roll easier when you bring it back out. It'll rest. So we are 26 centimeters across and 36 centimeters high. I will make them 8 centimeters by 8 centimeters, and that should give me a dozen. Okay, scoop and a half in each one, and you know, do your best, right? Do your best. And when I'm looking at this, a scoop might be really all they need for that size. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a scoop and a half in each one. Last one. Now, I think this would be much better if I'd been able to roll it out just a little bit bigger. These are 8 centimeters by 8 centimeters. Probably would have been better 10 by 10 or 12 by 12. It certainly would have got a better fit. Now, I'm going to prep a tray before we fold them up. Okay, sheet tray with some parchment paper, probably not strictly necessary. I've got an egg wash here, just an egg yolk with a little bit of water. And I'm just going to go around the outside. I'm not really positive. So if it isn't completely obvious to you by this point, I've never done this before. I've never taken this combination of spices and meat, put it together. I've never folded puff pastry this way around a meat filling. I really don't know how this is. Oh! Disaster. Okay. Let me clean up and then we'll move on. And there's no crew, right? There's no one rushing to my rescue. I'm on my own. Okay, let's try this again. Folding the corners up and then pinching them together at the top in a little bundle. Pinching them here. Let's see how that works. Now, I'm pretty sure these are going to pull apart in the oven. Positive they're going to pull apart in the oven. My technique for closing them, not there yet. I mean, I've only done 11 ever in my life. So maybe the 12th one will be pretty, but I doubt it. This is why you do things. You try things. You try something new. You push yourself. Give it a go. See what works. See what doesn't work. I mean, I'm sure there was a YouTube video where somebody did this and I could have watched it online, but I'm not like that, really. I prefer failing on my own and figuring it out. So I am going to do an egg wash over the top just so I can get some nice browning. Got barely enough egg wash left since most of it spilled on the floor. Anyway, oven is preheated to 325 and I've got the fan on. Into the oven they go. I'm going to keep a close eye on them and see how long they take to bake. Okay, so after all the folding them up, they all broke apart, just like I thought they would.
Back in the kitchen. Took my Wayback Machine.
Hey, Jules. Yes, we just tried. I think this is tomorrow's video. It's I think it is a Turkish recipe of meat from 1685 England. So we've just had that, which then occurred to me that I used Turkish spices in this that would have actually made that amazing. Anyway.
So you were saying something before I interrupted. So sorry.
So I folded it up. Obviously, they broke apart. No big deal. They still look kind of cool.
Oh, you folded it up like they were supposed to be like a
little
okay.
packages. The other
actually, I really like them.
They do look really cool. The other thing that I think is kind of weird is I cut it as a square.
It came out as
but
a rectangle.
It shrunk to a rectangle. So I don't know what the deal is with that shrinkage. Mostly because so if you go back to the puff pastry, so that was just a test run. When you go back to the puff pastry recipe, you roll it out in one direction, you fold it, and then the next time you roll it, you turn it 90 degrees and you roll it out in another direction. So it's always being rolled in. Anyway, I think that's amazing.
So does that mean, is there one in there?
No.
Okay, that was just folding.
That was just folding, throwing a piece of rough puff into the oven just to see how it cooks.
I actually agree that I think I like this better than if that was how it was supposed to be.
Well, let's give it a go.
Okay.
Oh. So the fat from the meat has sort of run down the side and under the bottom, and it has made the puff pastry
really crispy on the bottom.
And just tastes amazing. So even if you don't get any meat in your bite.
What I think is funny is it completely not overwhelms is not the right word. Normally when I have some puff pastry, it's like, whoa, nice and buttery. The butter isn't as obvious because the flavor of that, whatever the meat is just fabulous.
Okay. So, you probably laughed at me when I lifted up the bowl and smelled the meat and then said I'd need a little bit more. I think I nailed it.
Good for you.
I think I nailed it. That tastes really good.
Because the flavor's pervasive. It's fabulous.
So, rough puff pastry, really easy to make. This, fantastic. I think if you put those out at a dinner party, people would go wild. Wow.
It'd be great if they could be just a little bit smaller.
I'm really happy with
It's
that.
hard to get in my mouth.
I'm really happy with that.
Those are really good. And did you confess to everyone that you were, concerned about learning how to make rough puff?
Yes, very much so. And I fumbled through this. I mean, I didn't have enough egg wash near the end because I spilled the egg wash all over the counter and the floor halfway through. Oops. That's why I started out in a black apron and I'm now in a blue one. Because it got all over me. Get in the kitchen and experiment. You don't need a recipe. If you've got a method, you know that you can wrap meat in puff pastry and it's going to turn out. Experiment with the flavors that you put in the meat. I had no idea what I was doing until I got out here.
This is a big step up from like what is it when you wrap a sausage in
a sausage roll?
Yeah, like a sausage roll kind of thing. It's pretty fancy, Glen.
I mean, I could have picked any one of 4 or 5 different spices out of this cupboard when I started today. I did not know which one I was going to pick.
You could do it with jerk. You could do it with 5 spice or green spice. Well, what makes you happy?
Yeah. This is great. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.